Stop for a moment and look around. Do you really think you're in control of your life? Here's something you probably don't want to hear. 95% of what you think, feel, and decide isn't really you. You've been programmed since childhood by your parents, by school, by society, by the music you hear and the shows you watch. The mind you believe you control is actually what controls you. And the most dangerous part? You don't even notice it. But there is a way out, a way to silence this invisible program and take back the steering wheel of your reality. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal could change everything if you have the ears to hear and the eyes to truly see. Do you believe you truly think for yourself? Studies show the average person has between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts a day. And here's the shocking part. Most of them are exactly the same as yesterday. That means even when you think you're making free choices, you're just running in circles, like a scratched record playing the same melody over and over again. Your subconscious mind, which drives 95% of your behavior, acts like an invisible autopilot, shaping your actions, your reactions, and even what you believe is just your personality. But how was this autopilot programmed in the first place? From birth until about the age of 7, the human brain operates in theta brainwaves, a naturally hypnotic state. During this time, the mind absorbs everything as truth, without filters, without critical thinking. Every word you heard, every emotion you witnessed, every behavior you saw around you became a deep imprint, like installing software that would run for the rest of your life. Cell biologist Bruce Lipton explains that in this theta state, a child is literally hypnotized by the environment. That's why, as an adult, you find yourself repeating patterns you don't even understand. The corpus hermeticum, the ancient wisdom attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, also known to the Egyptians as Thoth, already revealed this truth. Man is shaped by the environment he is born into, just as clay takes the shape of the mold that surrounds it. And that's the real nature of the subconscious. It doesn't question, it doesn't judge, it doesn't filter. It just accepts and repeats. If a child is exposed to words of scarcity, they grow up believing money is always hard to earn. If they live in an atmosphere of fear, they carry that fear even when there's no reason. It's like traveling on a plane whose destination was set decades ago. And no matter how much you want to change course, you just keep flying toward the same place. Now think about it. How many of your desires, opinions, and beliefs were truly chosen by you? How many of your thoughts are really yours? And how many were simply planted? Have you noticed how most of the time you don't choose, you just react? Hermes Trismegistus, revered as Thoth, the god of wisdom in ancient Egypt, gave this timeless reminder. Know yourself, and you will know the universe and the gods. But how can you know yourself if you've never observed the mind that thinks for you? That is the question that begins to open the door to awakening. If this reflection is resonating with you, like this video and subscribe to the channel. When you do that, it's not just the algorithm learning to bring you more of this wisdom. It's your own mind learning to seek the knowledge that sets you free. But we're just getting started. Because if your subconscious is the autopilot that brought you here, how do you take back control and rewrite the flight path of your own life? In the next part, we'll uncover mental transmutation, the hidden key to changing the program that keeps you trapped. Most people have no idea how deep the power of mental transmutation really goes. It's not just about thinking positive. It's about changing the very nature of what you think and feel. The great Hermetic masters, following the teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, understood one simple truth. If everything in your life is a mental creation, then changing the mind literally changes the world around you. The Kybalion says, "He who understands the principle of mentalism holds the master key that opens all the doors of the temple." This key is in your hands, but you must learn how to use it. Your subconscious mind is like fertile soil. It will accept any seed: fear, doubt, abundance, or love. That's why the first step in reprogramming is awareness. Notice the recurring thoughts you feed every day. Write them down. See what you constantly repeat about yourself, about life, about other people. Then apply the principle of polarity. For every negative thought, write down its opposite, its higher version. If you catch yourself thinking, "I can never do it," transmute it to, "I always find the way." Repeating this process every day for at least 21 days begins to create new neural pathways, something neuroscience and Joe Dispenza's research on neuroplasticity have already proven. But transmutation goes beyond words. It's about shifting your vibration. The law of vibration teaches, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. When you repeat new ideas with genuine emotion, you raise your frequency, and this new vibration imprints itself on your subconscious. Bruce Lipton explains that the subconscious learns through repetition and emotion, the same way it did during early childhood. That's why you must repeat it until the new pattern feels natural, until the mind accepts it without resistance. This is how you finally break the cycles that once felt unbreakable. Meditation is essential in this process, but not to force silence. True meditation is simply observing the mental dialogue without judgment. It's realizing you are not your thoughts. You are the one who perceives them. When you create this inner space, you can choose which ideas deserve to stay and which ones must dissolve. And to dissolve the deepest memories, there's a simple yet powerful tool: Ho'oponopono. Dr. Hugh Len famously healed an entire ward of psychiatric patients without ever meeting them, by simply repeating, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you." This practice clears the hidden memories that create beliefs, and beliefs shape your behavior and your reality. Think about this analogy. When you look in the mirror and don't like the outfit you're wearing, yelling at the reflection doesn't change anything. But that's exactly what most people do when they get angry at the results in their life. What you see outside is only a reflection of what's inside. You can't fight the effect. You must change the cause. As the Hermetic Principle of cause and effect says, every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. When you change the mental origin, the reflection inevitably changes. So ask yourself, if the ancient masters and modern science say the same thing, that changing the mind changes everything, why keep feeding the same thoughts? Why keep reacting with the same emotions if they only lead you back to the same place? If you commit for just 21 days to plant new mental seeds, the soil of your life cannot remain the same. As the principle of correspondence reminds us, as within, so without, as above, so below. Everything begins with you. But here's the challenge. It's not easy to sustain this transformation if your environment keeps programming you without your awareness. The music you listen to, the movies you watch, the social media you consume, they're all shaping what you think and feel without your conscious choice. In the next part, we'll expose how media manipulates the collective subconscious and plants ideas you believe are yours, but never truly were. Imagine a crystal-clear aquarium. If the water stays pure, the fish swim freely. But if, drop by drop, poison is added, they won't notice until it silently weakens them. That's how the mental environment you live in works. The music you listen to, the movies you watch, the social media you scroll through, they're like invisible drops, programming your mind without you realizing it. And here's the unsettling truth. Most of what you think isn't even yours. Science calls this subliminal programming. Joe Dispenza explains that the brain is highly plastic and adaptable, but it's also extremely susceptible to its surroundings. Every image, sound, or repeated message seeps into the subconscious as truth, especially when you're relaxed or distracted. That's how ads create desires, how headlines plant fear, how media narratives shape opinions. You think you're making choices, but you're simply reacting to invisible triggers. The Corpus Hermeticum warns, those who do not govern their own mind are ruled by the thoughts of others. And it's not just about big decisions. It's in the smallest, subtlest things. A catchy song lyric can plant unconscious beliefs about love or scarcity. A TV show that glamorizes betrayal or violence slowly imprints those patterns into your subconscious. Without noticing, you start accepting ideas you never consciously chose, believing they're yours. That's why they say your environment is stronger than willpower, because it's constantly planting seeds, whether you like it or not. Now ask yourself, how many of your opinions on politics, religion, relationships, or even on yourself are truly yours? How many beliefs are just things you've heard so many times that you started to repeat them? If everything you think creates your reality, do you even know what you're actually creating? Or are you just harvesting seeds that were never yours to begin with? This is where real freedom begins. Realizing your mind may not be as yours as you think. As the ancient Hermetic wisdom of Hermes Trismegistus says, just as the wind shapes the dunes without resistance, so does collective thought shape the unprepared mind. If you don't decide which ideas enter, they will enter anyway, and they will stay. That's why the path is to observe, question, and choose what you allow to become part of you. Otherwise, you remain like the fish in the aquarium, believing nothing is happening while the environment slowly poisons you. But there is something deeper than the conscious and the subconscious, a level that cannot be manipulated because it is untouchable. It's the superconscious, the divine spark that observes everything without being affected by it. And it's at this level where true freedom is found. In the next step, we'll talk about how to access this higher mind and finally dissolve the illusion of separation and control. Think of the sky. Clouds come and go, some dark, some light. But the sky itself remains untouched. That's the superconscious, the highest part of your mind, the divine spark that observes every thought, every emotion, every experience, without being affected by them. While the conscious and subconscious are like waves and tides, the superconscious is the entire ocean. It doesn't react. It simply holds everything. The Corpus Hermeticum says, within man dwells something immortal, which observes but is never touched by what is mortal. When you reach this state of awareness, you realize you are not your thoughts. You are the one who watches them. And at that moment, the illusion of separation disappears. You understand there is no injustice, no randomness in the universe, only invisible causes producing visible effects. Carl Jung put it clearly. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The moment you take responsibility, you stop being a prisoner of automatic patterns. There are no victims in an awakened consciousness. But as long as you believe the universe is unfair or chaotic, as long as you think things just happen, you stay trapped in the victim archetype. And the victim archetype is powerless because it always waits for something external to save it. Nothing changes in that state. It only keeps the cycle alive. Freedom begins the moment you say, yes, I created this, even if unconsciously. Only then can the superconscious act, because the one who observes without judgment is the one who can truly transform. At this level, there's no need to control, only connection. There's no effort to fix the external world because you see it for what it really is, a mirror. When you reconnect with the universal mind, you stop identifying with memories, fears, or limiting beliefs. The Kybalion describes this union beautifully. He who understands that all is mind knows that he is part of the all, and the all is part of him. This is true freedom, remembering you were never separate from the source that creates everything. And here comes the only question that truly matters. If within you exists a spark that is divine, eternal, and limitless, why keep living as if you're limited? Why keep accepting thoughts and patterns that don't reflect the truth of who you really are? When you awaken to this awareness, life stops being a battlefield and becomes a path of conscious creation. As Hermes Trismegistus taught, the all is mind, the universe is mental. You are not the small character in the story. You are the one holding the pen. So take a deep breath and carry this reflection with you. Will you keep believing you're just the character? Or will you remember you're the one writing the story? Now you know. The subconscious is the autopilot shaping 95% of your life. You've learned that you can transmute thoughts through the Hermetic Principles of mentalism, vibration, and polarity. You've seen how your environment silently programs your mind without you even noticing. And beyond all of this, there is a divine spark, the superconscious, that observes everything and can rewrite it all. But understand something crucial. Just listening doesn't change anything. Knowledge without practice is just more information. For real transformation, you must commit to yourself. For at least 21 days, apply the exercises, transmute your thoughts, filter what you consume, and observe your inner dialogue. As the Kybalion reminds us, knowledge, like wealth, is meant to be used. He who hoards it without application is like one who piles up gold and never spends it, becoming a slave to his own treasure. So, use what you learned today. Like this video to teach both the algorithm and your own mind that you want more content that expands your consciousness. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. If you're ready to go deeper and want a practical key to apply these Hermetic laws to your prosperity, the ebook The Key to Prosperity is available now with a special launch price. The link is pinned in the comments. And now, to continue this journey, click the card on the screen and watch. The subconscious created a character, and you believed it. That video will expand your awareness even further. Finally, leave this declaration in the comments to seal your commitment. I commit. And come back here after 21 days to share how it felt to practice these exercises and filter everything you allow into your mind. Because true change begins now.